Welcome, ZASLOW Show 2.0. It is a Monday, the 22nd of May. Good to have you aboard. We are a Blue Wire podcast presented by Anidjar and Levine, accident attorneys, 800-747-FREE. That's 800-747-3733. Title sponsor of everything, ZASLOW Show 2.0. And we're going to get this week started off on the right note as what was billed as potentially the best 2-week stretch in the history, the most unique 2-week stretch in the history of South Florida sports is delivering on its promise. We started out with the Miami Heat. They win game 1. The Panthers, they win game 1. The Heat, they win game 2. The Panthers, they win game 2. The Heat, they win game 3. And tonight, you got the Panthers. They are in home. Sunrise game 3 tonight. Stanley Cup Eastern Conference Finals. What are we talking here? 5 days, 5 nights that we've had. I hope you got your beauty sleep. If you're watching on youtube.com/@ZASLOW Show, you see I got my beauty rest. I'm looking all good. This punum's ready to go for tonight. I hope you're getting you want to fit in a nap before the game tonight. Hey, we all got to do whatever it takes, right? Don't let go of the rope. We're all in this together. What a weekend. So glad to have you guys aboard. Make sure you like, you rate, you comment, you do all that fun stuff. It's for the algorithm. I don't know how the algorithm works, but I know that you do that stuff. It's really good for me. Then I get all the monies, and everyone's so happy. So make sure you do that. Today we'll do Panther. Look, we're gonna do mostly Heat today, but we'll do some Panthers. We'll preview the game tonight with ESPN NHL senior writer Greg Wyshynski. We like him a lot. He's going to join us on the show again, and we'll do some previewing with him. But the Miami Heat, they snatched the Boston Celtics' soul. They took the life out of them last night and have a stranglehold on this series. A 3-0 lead over the hated Celtics, who put out a gutless performance last night. The Heat brought out the buzzsaw. We haven't seen the buzzsaw in years. The Heat brought out the buzzsaw last night and now are 1 game away from playing for the NBA championship. That's what I'm talking about. What a night last night was. Oh my goodness. So we go into the game last night. And, obviously I feel like we're going to win. But like I said before the series started, look, certainly playing in that building means nothing. Means nothing to the Heat. They don't care about that building. Last 2 postseasons, Heat are 3-1 at TD Garden. That building means nothing to the Miami Heat. But conversely, now I'm not saying that our building means nothing to them. You saw what happened last night. That was a gutless embarrassment of a performance from the Boston Celtics. We got a great building. We got a great home crowd. They were on fire all game long last night. But this Celtic team, as we've seen, look, Game 7 last year, Game 5 last year, we've seen this Celtic team, they can come into our building and win games. So I'm confident going into the game yesterday, but I think it's going to be tight. I think we're going to get a great effort from the Celtics. It's not reasonable to have believed going into that game yesterday, excuse me, that the Miami Heat were going to smack the Celtics up and down the court. It is, you could be the most homer of Heat fans. It's not reasonable to have believed that going into the game. I believed they were going to win, but I thought it was going to be a battle. Just a battle. Did not expect the Celtics to lay down like that, but here's the thing. And I alluded to this before the series started, but now you know it for sure, right? The Celtics needing 7 games to beat the gutless Philadelphia 76ers should have been a major red flag for everybody covering the NBA. 7 games to beat the Sixers? That right there should have been a major red flag that the Celtics are about to walk into the buzzsaw. And guess what? That's exactly what it was. The Celtics walked into that buzzsaw. So, look, I was confident going into yesterday, but did not believe we were going to kick the shit out of them. So, where do we even start here? I think here's where we start, all right? This has been, what's been going on the last couple of weeks, and I know we talk about the conference finals alternating days, but going back a few weeks now, from the Heat-Milwaukee series to the Panthers being down 3-1 against Boston. From that point, right there, this has been the greatest stretch in my sports fandom life. Nothing compares, because we've never had this run where both teams are going at it, very high-stakes games, and winning very high-stakes games at the same time. We've never had this before. And the way that they're doing it, and the seasons that it came from, where the Heat had a miserable regular season. This is the Heat team. This one. This version of the Heat is the team that's giving us an all-time memorable run. This version. And then you look at the Panthers. This version of the Panthers, who had a miserable regular season, is giving us this all-time run. This version of the Panthers. These last few weeks, it's a stretch of sports down here in South Florida that we have never experienced before. This has been the greatest, most enjoyable last few weeks, this stretch that I've ever experienced as a sports fan. We got something special going on here. And I certainly said after the Heat-Milwaukee series, after the Panthers beat Boston, I was all, oh, it's on. Let's go win the Stanley Cup. But after the Heat beat Milwaukee, not that I was nervous about the Knicks, because I wasn't. Although, hey, give full credit to the Knicks. You look at the Bucks, and you certainly look at this gutless Celtics team. Give full credit to the Knicks. That team fought to the very end. They did. You give full credit to Jalen Brunson, who fought to the very end, carried that team. You look what Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown are not doing. Jason Tatum does not have a field goal in the fourth quarter of this series. Does not have a field goal in the fourth quarter this entire series. Look at what Jalen Brunson did. Jalen Brunson was carrying that whole team on his back to the very last second. Game 6, they're down by 2 with the ball, right? With under a minute to go. Full credit to the Knicks. Did not fold. Won Game 5 in New York to force Game 6. We're right there in the finish of Game 6. Full credit to the Knicks. That team's got a little bit of heart. This Celtic team, gutless. Gutless. And the Heat, once again, just like in Game 1 in 2020 in the bubble, when Bam blocked the Jason Tatum dunk, the Heat have snatched the Boston Celtics' soul. That's what I'm talking about. These last few weeks, it's the greatest few weeks I've ever experienced as a sports fan. That's where I wanted to start. That's how we start. And so I want to mention this as well. You know, my guy Brandon, he washes the cars. He's got the car business, car washing detail business, and B's Auto Detail, right? God, I hope I'm getting the name right. And so, if you want the information, you send me a message. He's the best, all right? So anyway, I was texting with my pal Brandon earlier today. And, he's going to come always wash my cars later this week. And so, he's a huge sports fan, huge wrestling fan too. And said he's going to the game tomorrow. He's taking his boys. And he said something to me that really resonated. And these are his words. I'm like, wow, that's going to be so much fun. You're going tomorrow. And look, tickets are expensive. Your boy ain't going. I'm not going to be there tomorrow. I'm not going. I wasn't there last night. I went to Game 3 against Milwaukee, blew those fools out. Went to Game 3 against New York, smoked those fools too. Gonna smoke those jamokes tomorrow night also. So I've been to a couple games. Haven't been to a Panther playoff game yet, which I'm kind of bummed about. But tickets are so expensive for both. Anyway, not the point. The point is, my man Brandon, he's taking his kids, and I'm sure he's paying a ton of money for these tickets. And he said something to me. He said, going tomorrow night, And I said, wow, that's going to be amazing. So fun, And he said, yeah, I'm trying to catch that sports moment. And that right there, Like, that really resonated with me. That right there, I thought, is what it's all about. Because that, to me, trying to catch that sports moment. If you're trying to catch that sports moment, you got to be there tomorrow night. If you're like, oh, I want to save my money, I want to go to the finals. Hey, good on you. That's a good plan. Save up your money, you want to go to a finals game. All right, still work to be done, but I'm just save up your money, you want to go to a finals game. You don't know what's going to happen in the finals. But tomorrow night has potential for an all-time great Miami Heat sports moment. So if you're trying to catch that sports moment, you go tomorrow night. Like, that really resonated with me when he said that, because that's what it's about, right? With sports, why do you love sports so much? Because of that sports moment. We're all trying to catch that sports moment together. We're all in the building together, and everyone is celebrating at the exact same moment over the exact same thing at the exact same time. It's the only thing in life that you get all these people together and have all those emotions in the exact same moment. It's the only thing that does that for us. And so trying to catch that sports moment, that's what it's about. That's what sports are about. And that was the thing that bummed me out so much last year when the Heat did not make the finals. Yes, of course I want the Heat to win the championship. But listen, I've experienced my favorite team in the world winning 3 championships. I got 2 championship rings. I'm a 2-time champion broadcaster. Like, I've experienced it. I hope we win more. I do. But if we don't, like, I'm going to be okay. I've experienced it, and it's amazing. And so now it's like, it's about this. It's about trying to catch the sports moment. And that's what bummed me out about last year, was not that Jimmy missed that 3-pointer and we could have went to the finals and maybe we would have won. I wasn't bummed out that we couldn't win the championship last year. I was bummed out that we were so close to an all-time South Florida sports moment. We were so close to catching that sports moment, like my guy Brandon said. Because if Jimmy hits that shot, we're remembering that moment, that feeling, the crowd, all of it. That's a forever moment. We remember that the rest of our life. The way that we're remembering the Ray Allen shot the rest of our life. Jimmy Butler hitting that shot right there would have been a forever moment. And that's the part that bummed me out about him missing it last year. Not because we couldn't play for the championship if he hit it, but because I wanted that moment. I wanted that feeling. And that's what it's about, right? Trying to catch that sports moment. It really resonated with me when he texted me that this morning. So, you're saving up your money to go to NBA Finals. Hey, good plan. But I would strongly consider just going tomorrow if you're saving the money. Watch finals at home. You'll be all right. Be there tomorrow night to end the Boston Celtics season in a sweep. Be there tomorrow night to cheer them on to win the Eastern Conference Championship. Be there tomorrow night to celebrate what could be the most improbable season in Miami Heat history. Go tomorrow night. Catch the sports moment, because it's here. And you don't know what's going to happen next. You don't know what the finals have in store for us. But tomorrow night has potential to be a party from start to finish. Go tomorrow night. Catch the sports moment. Man. So, as far as the game goes last night, there were 2 moments for me. Like, game's tight, in the first quarter. We're up by 10, but we're up by 8 at the end of the first. And then in the second quarter, now it's on. Now the run begins. And we'll get to Bam in a second. There are 2 plays that I want to play for you guys, which I mean, I was jumping around, running around the ZASLOW Mansion family room. I wasn't in my underwear. Ladies, calm down, all right? I was still fully clothed. But I'm jumping around the ZASLOW Mansion family room. There were two specific plays where I was just so excited. I'm yelling out buzzsaw, smoking you jamokes. Like, I was so happy last night. And it was there were two sequences. It wasn't just, oh, big play right here. It was a big basket, then a big defensive play, then another basket. That's what the buzzsaw is. The buzzsaw isn't just like a huge shot or a huge dunk. The buzzsaw is the whole sequence. That's the buzzsaw. And the buzzsaw was back last night. So there were two sequences last night that were my absolute favorite moments of the game. The first one came late in the second quarter. I think we were up by 13 at the time, and the buzzsaw made an appearance.
Robinson gets it to Adebayo, facing the defense. And what a slam! Oh, a pirouette! When he is this aggressive, coach, this Heat team goes to a different level. Turnover right there. Butler in, knocked it away. Numbers, the trailing Adebayo in the corner. Robinson, it's a three. What a big-time play.
You see, that's the buzzsaw right there. Bam, he gets the spinning dunk on Jaylen Brown. So I jumped so high off the couch there. Oh, my God. Then you get the stop. You get the steal. Jimmy finds Duncan in the corner for three. Buries it. We're up by 18. It was so on. 13-point lead to 18-point lead at that point. Boom, baby. So on. That was the first buzzsaw. The second buzzsaw came early, like mid-third quarter. And we're smoking these fools now, okay? And you know this, where I've told you this before, and I was saying this last night. In a game like that, where the Heat are up by 15, and the Celtics at halftime, and the Celtics actually cut it to 12 on that Marcus Smart three-point play where he got the offensive rebound, put back, and he's trying, let's go, and shut up. In that moment right there, like a 15-point game at the start of the half, the first few minutes of the half are enormous. If the Celtics get a couple baskets, all of a sudden, a 15-point game is now 10. They're back in it. Or it could go the other way, and a 15-point lead is now 20. The first few minutes of the third quarter, in a game that's like a 15-point deficit like that, are enormous. And the Heat had the answer, man. Marcus Smart, like I said, cut it to 12. It's like, all right, here it is, right now. What kind of game is this going to be? Are they going to get back in it, or are you going to rip out their heart? They ripped out their heart. And the buzzsaw was out once again.
It's Strus on Adebayo with the screen. He'll shimmy his way in. Hold on! Up high, down hard. Adebayo has done it again. Jackhammers in a pass. Inside for Smart, doubled hits. It's rebounded by Vincent on the fly. Pull up three. Boy, does he got the stroke tonight. 13-2, Heat won. Biggest lead.
Yep, and it all started with Bam again. Bam gets the alley-oop slam, dunked it all on top of Grant Williams. Great feed from Strus. Marcus Smart, I don't know what kind of bullshit he was trying to throw up there. And then we go the other, and Gabe Vincent doing his best Tim Hardaway impression. Ahead of the break, stops and pops from straight away, holds the pose. The Heat are now up 23, 74-51. And this was where Jimmy Butler did the taunting, did the timeout to Al Horford, which you love because Jimmy is petty as hell, and we love that. And if you watch the replay, Horford, he sees what Butler's doing, and then he started to talk to Butler, and he started to walk toward him, and Jimmy was like, yeah, I don't care about anything you have to say, and just ran in the other direction. And Horford is just left there at center court trying to talk and walk toward Jimmy Butler, but Jimmy Butler's already dipped. So embarrassing for Horford. We ripped their heart out. That game last night Now, understand what I'm about to say. We made the Celtics give up. They quit. Hey, at the start of the fourth quarter, I understand it was a 30-point game. All the scrubs were on the floor for Boston, which I thought was really surprising. I understand you're not coming back from 30 down, but waving the white flag with a whole quarter left. The Celtics quit last night. And last night was one of the most enjoyable playoff wins I've ever experienced. Because of all the scenarios we already laid out, the kind of season the Heat had, the way they broke the buzzsaw out last night against the hated Celtics, and they made them quit. And how improbable 3-0 was. 3-0 is. Last night was one of the most enjoyable playoff wins I've ever experienced. We took their soul. I love it. And I hate that team so much. I hate them more than the Knicks. I've hated them more than the Knicks for years. Now, that's because the Celtics have been very good and are a really good franchise, and the Knicks have been very, very bad and are a terrible franchise. That's why I like when the Knicks are good like this year, because I would like to get back to all of that mess. I hate the Celtics so much more than the Knicks. It's been like that for a really long time. And holy shit did I enjoy last night. Man. I hate them so much. And we're not just beating them. We're embarrassing them. We are beating them in a way that there will be major changes in their offseason. Last night was incredibly enjoyable in the ZASLOW mansion. And Duncan Robinson, let's start with it. First of all, I got to tell you guys, you want to talk about huge Heat fans. My boys, the Greensteins, family, friends, water cleanup of Florida, they're enjoying this as much as anyone. If you got a leak in your house, you don't know where it's coming from, you got to find that, all right? Well, Water Cleanup of Florida, they're the ones who are going to find it for you. 954-900-8635. I'm talking over 60 years of combined experience. Water Cleanup of Florida, their team is prepared to handle all types of leak detection issues 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. After the leak has been located and repaired, Water Cleanup of Florida is then going to clean, dry, and fully restore the damaged areas. Water Cleanup of Florida, fully licensed, insured, certified to provide the one-stop shopping that busy homeowners and business owners require. My favorite part, you don't need to bring anyone else in. They're handling the entire project from start to finish. They serve all the Tri-County area, Miami-Dade, Broward, Palm Beach. 954-900-8635 or go to WCUFL.com. You could check out their more than 80 5-star reviews on Google. These are family friends of mine. I would not be recommending them to you if they weren't the ones who are going to take care of you better than anyone else out there. Water Cleanup of Florida, 954-900-8635. Water Cleanup of Florida, we clean up your schmutz. I'll tell you who else, by the way, is experiencing this, is loving this as much as anyone else. You know my guy Colin, founder and CEO, Sheets and Giggles. I've never slept better in my life. I have Sheets and Giggles now. We're going on, I think, for about 2.5 months, maybe. I'm going to have Sheets and Giggles for the rest of my life. It's my favorite comfort of all time. The bedding is so soft. I have a eucalyptus pillow. You're going to be one of over 100,000 Americans who are now sleeping on Sheets and Giggles. You're never going to shop anywhere else. SheetsGiggles.com. You can use my promo code ZASLOW, get 20% off checkout. SheetsGiggles.com. We're talking sustainably made from the wood of eucalyptus trees, grown on sustainably managed biodiverse farms. So not only is my man Colin, the founder and CEO of Sheets and Giggles, helping us all get better sleep on a nightly basis, but he's making sure that the environment is protected at the same time. He was texting me last night. He's out there. He lives actually in Denver, South Florida sports fan. He can't wait for the finals, a potential Heat Nuggets run. He'll be right there. He's super pumped. I love what all of our sponsors are huge South Florida sports fans. I love that, all right? I love that those who support the show, they're also huge Miami sports fans. So again, Sheets and Giggles, the only sheets I'm ever going to use the rest of my life. SheetsGiggles.com. So Duncan Robinson, I said this throughout the season. I think he still has a purpose on this team. I think he could still be a guy who contributes. Now, the door opened when Tyler Hero got hurt. Because, all right, you can't play Hero and Robinson. We're going to have two terrible defenders. So with Hero out, you may as well give Robinson a chance here. He's also terrible defensively. He's going to stretch the floor. Use Robinson. And coach has been using him since Hero went down. And Duncan Robinson, first of all, Duncan hit two huge threes in the fourth quarter of game 2 when the Heat were down big, which they don't come back and win that game without him. But last night, Duncan changed the game in the second quarter. Duncan, who was like, Sam Van Gundy made mention of it, he's got like 5 layups the past 2 games. Duncan had a couple of backdoor layups, which, by the way, one of them where Duncan drove the basket and scored past Jason Tatum, and Jason Tatum is complaining to the referee about Duncan using his arm. How about Duncan Robinson just drove the hole against you, Jason Tatum, and scored? How about less complaining to the officials and more focus on Duncan Robinson taking you to the basket and scoring on you? I mean, what a loser performance Jason Tatum has had this series. Complaining about Duncan Robinson scoring on you? So anyway, Duncan had a couple baskets at the rim, and the reason that happens is because, and I'm explaining this to my son yesterday, even if Duncan is not hitting his shot, he's attracting so much attention on the perimeter that he's now being allowed to cut to the basket and get layups. You also had Duncan where he drove to the basket and found Bam for that first monster alley-oop. Duncan changed the game for them in the second quarter last night. What can you say about the series that Caleb Martin is having? What can you say about the series Gabe Vincent is having? And Gabe, by the way, because this game was Friday night, so we didn't get to talk about this yet, Gabe Vincent was 1 for 7 when the score was 105-103 with 40 seconds remaining. And he takes a step back 18-footer over Jason Tatum to ice the game. The balls on Gabe Vincent. And then he hits the 2 free throws. And then he does his best Tim Hardaway impression last night. The balls on Gabe Vincent, who outscored himself, Brown, and Tatum combined. Robinson, Vincent, Tatum. The Heat won that game by 26 last night. A game they led by as many as, I think, 33. A game that they did not need huge performances from Butler and Adebayo. I mean, we snatched their soul last night. Butler last night took 13 shots, 16 points. Bam, by the way, who took just 5 shots, had 13 points. Only 13 points, was awesome last night. I told you guys this, right? Going into the series, most important player for the Heat, Bam Adebayo. Because if he would have played in the series last year, the way he's played offensively this season, the Heat win that series last year. And I told you this going into this series. This is a redemption series for Bam Adebayo. And if he plays the way he did this regular season with the ball against the Celtics this year, the Heat will win this series. And guess what? This dude is aggressive. Super aggressive, Bam Adebayo. He was awesome last night, and he only had 13 points. He's dunking on full sets. He is trying to slam the ball every time he catches it around the basket. He's been sensational. I'm so happy for him. And going into the game yesterday, like I tweeted this out, going into the game yesterday, it just felt like it's their time. It feels like it's Jimmy's time. And that didn't even necessarily mean that it was Jimmy having a big game and carrying the Heat last night. Jimmy doesn't have to have a big game last night to carry the Heat. Jimmy is just, this is Jimmy's team. He's carrying them every moment. Just being there, he's carrying this team. Just felt going into the game like it's his time. And by it being his time, it's their time. The whole team is taking on Jimmy's personality. He's one of the all-time greatest leaders I have ever seen in sports. He is. He doesn't have to have the big statistical game to carry the team. His presence is felt the entire time. We're on another level than this Celtics team. We just are. That's a soft team. That's a soft-ass team. And we're all about business. We're tough. We don't complain. We do no complaining. Boston spends the whole game complaining. Jimmy Butler, is there any other superstar in the league who doesn't complain? They all complain. Jason Tatum spends the whole game complaining. Jimmy never complains. The team never complains. Lowry complains, but now because he's coming off the bench, doesn't play as much, it's not as apparent. Nobody else complains. We don't showboat. How about Bam? All those dunks he had on top of Grant Williams' head, the spin move and the slam, Jaylen Brown's on the ground. Most guys showboat after that. Nah, we're about business. Next possession, let's go. We're just a take care of business team. And Boston is nonstop complaining. And Jason Tatum, Jason Tatum after game 6 against Philly, humbly speaking, I'm one of the best players in the world. Please. You've been a ghost. Fourth quarter, this entire series. 0 baskets in the fourth quarter, the entire series. I'm sorry. You can't say, humbly speaking, I'm one of the best players in the world. And this is your showing? That's an embarrassment. Pathetic. We've snatched their souls. And we end it tomorrow. I'm telling you, you want to catch that sports moment? Go tomorrow. Go tomorrow night. What a night, man. What a night. And I'll tell you what else. There are going to be Heat fans who are upset. Oh, they're talking too much about the Celtics today. Why are they talking about the Heat? I think they're probably going to be talking about the Heat plenty, but the Celtics are a major story the way that they have embarrassed themselves, that gutless performance last night, and now down 0-3 when they were the favorites once Milwaukee got bounced. The Celtics are a massive story. And if you're a Heat fan, you should not be upset about that. Let everybody continue to talk about the Celtics. Let everybody continue to talk about the ESPN analytics and the percentages, which, by the way, I think the Heat fan is way too wrapped up in. Who cares? Let the Celtics be the huge story. Because no one's going to say anything good about them. No one's going to say anything positive. Let them be the story. Let the Heat continue to fly under the radar. Don't get worked up about this. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. And I know they're going to be talking about, is Mazzulla going to be fired? It's possible. It really is. It's possible Mazzulla gets fired. If they get swept and that team quit, they just gave him a 4-year deal. But hey, nobody better question the great Joe Mazzulla in his post-game press conferences. Nah, he's above all that. And you know what? He was super condescending last night, too. Because last night, the whole post-game, one of the quotes, I just didn't have them ready. I didn't put them in the right mentality. Okay, first of all, a coach of a team that was in the NBA Finals last year and they're down 0-2, it is not his responsibility to get his guys ready. Be professional. You're in a do-or-die situation. All we hear about is Jaylen Brown's about to get $300 million in the offseason. Your coach needs to get you in the right mentality. That's an embarrassment. But Mazzulla was so condescending because the entire postgame was taking all the blame, nonstop blame. I didn't have them ready. It's all on me. It starts with me. And it's so he's doing the complete opposite thing where it's I just want to get out of here. So I'm just going to tell you everything you want to hear, which is I'm the worst coach. I'm at fault for everything. It's not their fault. It's all my fault. Super condescending. It sounded like a coach who is going to get fired. That's what he sounded like. Man, what a night. After the Milwaukee series, I felt like the Heat's season was made. It was. Their season was made at that point, based on what we went through in the regular season. And now, we're trying to win the whole thing. We're 5 wins away from winning the NBA championship. We're 1 win away from hosting NBA Finals games for the first time in 9 years. It's been a long time since we've had finals in that building. It's been a long time. Now, I've thrown a lot on your plate right now. We're really excited. Don't let any of this make you forget that since their existence in 1988, since their birth, the Miami Heat have won 3 times as many championships as the Boston Celtics during that span. Don't let any of this allow you to forget that. The Heat have won 3 times as many championships as the Celtics since their existence. Don't forget about that. We're not just beating these teams either, man. The Heat didn't embarrass the Knicks. The Knicks showed a lot of fight. And like I said, full credit to the Knicks based on everything we're seeing right now. Gutless Celtic team. Knicks weren't gutless. Jalen Brunson, not gutless. We're not just beating these teams. Milwaukee, Boston, we are embarrassing and dismantling them. About that business, man. Celtics are not about that business. Celtics are about that blowing it up in the offseason. That's what the Celtics are about. Don't get upset that the Celtics are going to get a ton of attention today. It ain't good attention. Let the Heat continue to fly under the radar. It's totally cool. Totally okay. The announcers love mentioning the undrafted players, right? It's a story. And you know what? We'll get to it during Big Deal, Not a Big Deal. But Ernie Johnson postgame, Gabe Vincent was on set with them. And they asked him about that. We're like, we bring up undrafted players. Is that insulting? Is it a badge of honor? It should be a badge of honor. I feel like Eric Spoelstra said recently that it's insulting that it keeps getting brought up. I guess maybe they feel that way. It's reality. It's a fact. And it's a cool story for the media to latch on to. And you're going to get more of it if the Heat win the Eastern Conference Championship. You're going to get more of it. The announcers love mentioning the undrafted players. You know what I love mentioning, by the way? Hey, I've had my homeowner's insurance with Brunt Insurance for about 10 years from now. It helps me sleep at night. This way I know, and we've had terrible weather the last couple months. God forbid there's some type of damage, there's an accident. I know that I am covered properly. Bruntinsurance.com, 954-589-2204. From Pensacola to the Keys and beyond, Brunt Insurance delivers you that comprehensive insurance tailored exactly to your needs. You're going to tell them what kind of home you have, single story, townhouse, rent, maybe you have a condo, maybe you own, all right? Whatever it is. And then Brunt Insurance, with their fully licensed staff, they know whatever area you're calling from. They're going to tell you exactly what you need. Do you need flood insurance? Do you need this? Do you need that? So this way, God forbid there's an accident, you know that you're covered. You're getting the affordable care, the best deal around. Like I said, I've had my homeowner's insurance through Brunt Insurance for about 10 years now. And if I got a question, I call the man, Greg Brunt himself, 954-589-2204. You need coverage on your car, your boat, your motorcycle. I'm not going to send you somewhere where I don't, I'm a customer as well. I use them also to make sure that I'm covered properly. Brunt Insurance, the best insurance rates you're going to get anywhere. My man Greg Brunt and his team are going to get it for you. Bruntinsurance.com, 954-589-2204. And I told you recently, they were named top 5 insurance agency in the country. Number 1 in Florida. Top 5 in the country. Again, Bruntinsurance.com, 954-589-2204. All right, so we got the Panthers tonight, which we're super excited about. We're going to get to Greg Wyshynski in a moment here, senior writer, NHL, ESPN. So the Panthers, they did it also on Saturday night. We're all doing our thing. And the Panthers win in overtime. Thank God it was early. I can't do 4 overtimes again. I don't want to do that ever again in my life. Matthew Tkachuk, baby. Jimmy Butler, Matthew Tkachuk. Oh, my God. Unbelievable. So the Panthers, they got the opportunity tonight. I'll be watching right here. I'll be watching with a 6-pack of Johnny Cuba. That's right. Right here on the ZASLOW Mansion family room, right here on my couch. We'll be enjoying the game with a Johnny in hand. You know what I'm talking about. Johnny Cuba, official beer of ZASLOW Show 2.0. Don't forget to pick up that Johnny Cuba Picante hot sauce. Jalapeno peppers, you know what I'm talking about. I put it on my chicken, my fish, my meat. I love it. Anyway, Johnny Cuba, European roots with a Caribbean soul. a refreshing German lager in a can. Pick up a 6-pack right now. Your local Sedano's, Presidente, Winn-Dixie. Always drink responsibly. That's why I love having a 6-pack of Johnny on the Zaslow Mansion family room couch. That's responsible. And don't forget, of course, Johnny Cuba's mantra, stay tranquilo.